Hello everyone, Chrisa here, and today we are going to carry on the misconceptions video that we started off last week. So we started looking at the base, how oftentimes we are asked to keep our heels together, or keep our knees together, or keep everything together, keep our hips square, keep our shoulders steady, all these things that might be connected to a tango style that you wish to acquire for yourself. And that is totally up to you as long as you know what that um, requires from your body. So that wouldn't be a misconception. What would make it a misconception is if we believe that that is how we are supposed to move. And this is the thing that we are trying to explore in this video, how our body was built to move, and then make an informed decision if we want to be congruent or not. We want to make a choice and take all these uh, actions towards a tango style of our preference. So, with no further ado, let's go. So usually we're asked for to place our weight over the toes, either with straight knees, like I'm demonstrating here, or with our knees bent in this way. But in both cases, our heels can easily be lifted off the floor. That puts us in a very forward position. And if you're only going forward, this might work for you. But in other directions causes trouble, especially for the followers, can really hurt your feet. So using the floor, rolling forward and back and maybe left and right, massaging our feet on the floor. Find a comfortable middle where your weight is over the arch of the foot and the toes can spread and have no tension whatsoever. They're just there to support you. This is point zero. Take a nice deep breath here, and as you exhale, try to keep the volume in the body. Try to keep the body ready. Create that readiness. But see how I'm not committed to a forward, back, left, or right position. Notice the change now. Now I'm going to commit forward. So as you pass from position to position, just a nanosecond. See how I'm going point zero to committing forward. Point zero, committing forward. That creates a better balanced movement. And if you're a leader, which is the most important part, while leading yourself, you're leading your partner. And see, you don't really need to think extra about that. Let's say the back step. Back step, it's very similar, only you can see there is an intention here, a more stronger commitment to rolling backwards slightly towards that heel as I am projecting the leg. So it is safer for your body. You're more ready, you're more empowered, and you can lead yourself as you lead your partner. Now, problem number 2, find your normal position. And I'm exaggerating because this is sometimes, most of the day, my normal position. Slushing forward, believe it or not. What we're most of the times asked to do is to overextend the spine. And this might be a little bit more common in followers. But, you hear cues such as squeeze the shoulder blades together or push your chest forward or take your hips back. And because we're so much in the curve, we try to overcompensate for that. And then if our back is in pain, we try to pull the belly button to spine, and then we end up like this. So the upper body is going forward, but the lower body cannot go back because we're tensing up the abs. So this is everything. One thing is fighting the other. Let's find, using a very gentle rolling, folding and unfolding of the spine, let's find a position. First of all, let's find movement in the spine. Let's understand how the spine wants to move. And then, as a connected piece, because all the pieces of the spine are connected. And then we'll find a position, a starting position that is good for our bodies. And each one of you will probably have a slightly different position than me and then any of your partners, because your body is special. It's just yours. So feel free to modify this exercise. I am just showing you a range of motion that is comfortable for me. You're not required to reach to this deep of an extension or a deep of flexion, but notice a couple of things. Notice that nothing stays behind. Everything is moving through the different motions, and I'm looking up with my shoulders and my chest, looking forward with my hips and my knees. I'm looking down with the forehead, with the shoulders, looking back with the hips, looking down with the knees. So everything is moving. Nothing stays behind. They're not moving all at the same time, but they're moving in relation to one another. And that allows for, the body to find smoother transitions where every little bit of it is helping in some way. So you can repeat as many times as you like. Sometimes I get into it and I really enjoy it. And then you find a comfortable middle. And that's where you're going to be at. The interesting part is that we need all of these positions we went through. Well, not the super duper folding and unfolding, but look at this. See that curve that's coming in? Whoop. And it's tiny, but it helps you commit forward. See it? We're starting from point 0, committing forward, curve in the spine, and step up. And suddenly, we're going into an unfolding, and I'm exaggerating it here so you can see it. So this is not how much of an extension you would need, but it is an extension. Curve, extend, right? Super duper nice back extension. And that is also what helps you commit to a back step compared to a forward step. So let's see this one again. So I'm going to start over in just a tiny bit seconds. So here we go. Committing forward, curve in the spine, taking a second to go from point 0 in posture to a forward step. See the difference? Step. We hit an extension there in the spine and the leg, point 0. And now in the backward step, we hit the extension of the spine that is following and not a curve. And that creates extra movement and preparation for a back step that you will not ever have to think about leading ever again if you bring this into your bodies. So let's see. Once we curve, and this is because of how our hips and our our ribs are basically two balls that they sit one on top of the other, and they communicate through the spine and through tendons and ligaments and muscles and organs that are in between. So, and lots and lots of fluid. So what happens is when you curve, there are other things happening. There is auscultation, that is a side bend and a twist. So let's say it again. A side bend, a curve, sorry, a side bend and a twist all at the same time. Curve, like we were doing before, the full spine participating, twist. This is coming from locomotion and side bend. So let's see how this would apply in a forward step. And I'm going super, super slow, and I'm super exaggerating. It's not that visible when you dance, but see the change from the curve to the extension, to the full extension, my one hip being a little bit more forward, opposite twist in the shoulders, and I'm just rebounding here to show you how one shoulder is also a little bit higher than the other because of that side bend. Side bend and the twist usually go very, very nicely together. And in Access Syllabus, we've come up with the word auscultation to describe this position of the body. So changing sides here so you can see me just a little bit better. See side bend and twist working together, passing through point 0. And here we go. In the extension, as you shoot that leg back, you go from curve to extension. And see how everything else just falls into place once you allow for the full body to move from one position to the next, not letting the feet do all the work. So I'm super exaggerating here, but this is not only for you to see. I want you to actually practice it this way so you can feel all these movements that we're talking about. Exaggerate as much as you can, and then you can tone it down once you, when you get onto the dance floor or practicing with your partner normally, not exaggerating in this way. The tone down is easy. The exaggeration is the difficult part. So here are a few exercises. Simple. Just going from one foot to the other, just to get a feel of this side bend. You might have seen it in other dances. It is not only in tango, but in our everyday type of walk. So try to go from one foot to the other, lifting the hips, and then try those little swings that you've oftenly seen in our videos. And as you can see, especially this exercise, and that's why I love it, has all of the above: extension, curve of the spine, auscultation, locomotion, everything in one. And last but not least, the head. Does this look familiar? Either as a leader or or as a follower. Well, when you push your head forward or forward and down, or in some weird tensing position. So for the head, I want us to try this. So if you gently press around your eyes and find the sockets of where your eyes, inside of which your eyes rest. So gently, very, very gently press, just to become, with touch, you can become aware of exactly where exactly they are and how much space they're taking and their orientation. So a soft touch just to become aware of it. You can keep your hands here if it helps you. And I'm just going to change my orientation so you can see this better. So you can keep your hands here or around your eyes, wherever it helps. Oftentimes, it just helps to have them on the side, and the top. There we go. We can see me better this way. And with this gentle pressure, try to align the whole head. So if you can imagine a parallel to the floor plane, this plane will not be tilted downward or upward. So you align the sockets of the eyes with the floor. And this would be the position of the head in what we call point zero. So when you're just standing and you're ready to get into the embrace, you get into the embrace, you want the head not to be tilted down, not to be pushing forward, or not to be pushing back, of course, either. So you want the position where the sockets of the eyes are parallel to the floor. And see how much the whole upper body relaxes. So we can actually try this together. Choose any of the postures that you usually have for the head. So sometimes we look down. Immediately by this action, the whole frame wants to go and to follow the exercise that we did before, because this is all connected. So if you do have the habit, like I do, to be honest, looking down all the time as you're dancing, you will notice that it's quite difficult to keep this from dropping as well, which makes sense. That's a good thing. So if you want for the whole posture to realign itself without you having to struggle, meaning creating situations such as this, let's see, take this away. Gentle pressure, find exactly what we're talking about, and realign. Especially if you are a leader, this might be a very common position as well. Pushing, reaching forward. So this automatically takes your chest, it requires for your chest to be projected further out. So the whole posture is shifted a lot more forward. If this is your tango style, keep it. If not, and you feel that that causes you a lot of stress, again, finding now not only this plane, but also this one. So parallel to your body, where do the sockets of the eyes sit? If you feel that you're about to fall forward, this slight realignment will give you an idea of where your whole head is. So, shall we try it standing? So here we go. Repeat this little exercise because it helps realign the whole spine, and honestly, it just feels so good. So try it a couple of times. Make sure that you're moving your whole body through this folding and unfolding, and then find a comfortable middle. You can repeat the nice strong inhale and exhale if it helps you find point zero. And let's see how the head starts from point zero to slightly a drop, and lift again and drop. Point zero, go through, drop, and lift and drop. So magically, it follows the line, it follows the movement of the spine. And there, aside from the obvious skeleton connection, there are two wonderfully powerful ligaments that run, one within the spine, and one at the let's say at the front of the spine, at the front being towards our organs. So with that in mind, try to see if, aside with not doing this mechanically, like nodding your head, but finding a flexibility that comes from these ligaments. So here's an extra exercise. Just walk and nod. Straightforward, pretty simple, not as easy as it looks. You will find a different way through this simple exercise to align the head with the spine and find timing and rhythm in your steps. Walk forward and back. And it's time to recap. So, not being too far forward, either with straight knees or with bent knees, either or. Too much pressure over the front of the foot. This is one thing that we talked about. Finding instead point zero. Not going for a fully extended spine with the hips pushing back or with the hips tucked under. And not aligning the head downward or pressing it too far forward. So these are the elements we talked about, and we found the movement in our spine with aligning it, connecting it to movement in the whole body with this folding and unfolding. And we found in this way a point zero to start from. And then we worked with the position of the head, and we used the socket of the eyes to create, to find comfortable alignment. We found that we use folding and twisting and side bending in order to move from point zero into the different directions, in order to show our commitment to the different directions. So if this is your point zero, this would be your transition to a forward step. We found that as we're collecting the feet, we're passing from extension to a folded position of the spine. 2.0 again. Side steps, hold that 0.0 position. And we go to the back, committing fully to that extension and not letting only the leg do it. So we're going from a curve to an extension to, again, a curve. That movement, the curve and the unfolding of the spine, the extension of the spine, is followed from auscultation, which is side bending and twisting. And it's followed by the head freely moving and not being set in one position. So there is a gentle nodding because of all these different elements being connected magically and superbly in what we call human body. So use this step, and I'm still here exaggerating. I again invite you to exaggerate and have fun with it. And then you can try this simple box step, not exaggerating, but exactly the same way you would do it on the dance floor. Notice the difference these simple exercises have made, and taking the time to become a little bit more aware of how our bodies are built to move.